All praise to the Almighty Ahaya. I love you, Ahaya. It's been a while, y'all, since I tapped back in and did one of these. All praise to Ahaya, or sure Ahaya, for granting me that spirit to return and to do such a thing that I love, for it brings me much clarity, understanding, and brings out great depth of perspective throughout the scriptures. And I always learn something new, you know. So I appreciate you, Ahaya, for bringing me back. And I've been meaning to talk about this and deal with this for a while now. And I finally had the opportunity. So right now we're dealing with Daniel chapter 12, verse 1 and 2. Now the title alone, the resurrection of the dead, blowing me right now. It's blowing me, I'm telling you. What resurrection of the dead is it talking about? It's talking about the walking dead, the walking zombie. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys watch that show, The Walking Dead. Wifey watches it all the time, and I watches it too. But when I watch it, it reminds me of us, the house of Yeshala, the Yeshalites, or the house of Israel. For we are the walking dead, meaning that we are not awakened. The majority of us are not awakened, nor do we consider that we are the house of Yeshua, the true house of Israel, the chosen of Ahia. So this is what this means. It's time for the resurrection of the dead. Us resurrect us back to knowing who we are. For Ahia is about to speak and gather his people. All praise. Verse 1. At that time, Michael, the great prince, chief prince, the protector of your people, shall arise. There shall be a time of anguish such as has never occurred since nations first came into existence. Well, since we became the whole 13 tribe of Yashala. It has never been this bad. It's been bad, but not like this. As we can see, it's been crazy since we've been spread throughout the four corners of the earth. And not all the Yashala has been spread through the four corners of the earth. Only the southern kingdom, the house of Dawi, sons and daughters, the house of Lawai, sons and daughters, the house of Zadok, sons and daughters, the house of Benjamin, and the house of Yahuda. That's what make up the southern kingdom, and they've been spread throughout the four corners of the earth. So wherever we are, it has been like no other before. For the 10 tribes has been spread out through Africa. Remember they were gathered by the Assyrians at that time, and since then they've been spread throughout throughout Africa or throughout our land mass over there. So that's the northern kingdom, but it has never been this bad for us. You know, especially us over here in the southern kingdom since we became a full group of the house of Yeshala or Yisrael, right? Then it says, but at that time your people shall be delivered, everyone who was found written in the book. Now, what book is this talking about? Now, we have to go back now, y'all. You know how I do. We have to go to Malachi, go to 3, go to 16, and then we have to read right here. These are the elders talking, and these are our forefathers, and they are addressing and speaking to their descendants. So we may know what has happened and what has taken place. This is the very reason why we have a Bible today, or a scroll, or the Tanakh, or the five books of Moses. I'm trying to be eloquent here, but you get what I'm saying. But this is the reason why we have these scrolls, this book. And I'm not talking about the New Testament, for that is the beginning of something else. But this is the reason why we have Genesis through Malachi to speak about what's taking place. So right here in Malachi it reads, verse 16. Then those who revered or respected Ahiah spoke with one another. Ahiah took note and listened, and a book or a scroll of remembrance was written before him of those who respected Ahiah and thought on his name. So those who have respect for their king, Ahiah, and they want to know what's going on, things ain't looking right, they may be confused, or they have questions, or they have a high urgency for learning and acknowledging and seeking their creator. This book was created just for you. So you may not lose that tiny inch of hope that you may have, that you will stay hanging on to your creator. This book was made for you, right? So verse 17, they shall be mine, says Ahiah, of armies or of hosts, my special possession or my special jewels, should I say, right? On the day when I act, right? When he acts, that means on the day when he decides to come deliver the house of Yasharlah from their captivities and bring down the nations, when he chooses to act and crumble the nations before us. That's in Daniel. That's also it's in Daniel. That's Daniel chapter 2. Dealing with the kingdoms, the Babylonian statue, right? The Nebuchadnezzar. I just watched Daniel today. It's crazy. But that statue, the statue of gold, Babylon, the statue the what is that? The chest of silver or arms, so that's gold, silver. Then it's bronze. Then the legs iron and the feet is iron and toes. That statue, which represents all the nations, the three kingdoms, and the fourth kingdom that we're living in right now, which is the Edomite kingdom, and also mixed in with the Gentiles. So it's the Edomite Gentile kingdom. For the Edomites or the Amalekite Edomites, who have dominion. That's Numbers chapter 24, verse 20. They have dominion right now. For Ahiah has given them dominion, and they are the evil ones, the wicked ones who's running these industries, all sorts of industries that are perishing your people, that are diminishing your people. They are the ones who are running things, the evildoers, the robbers of our heritage, our nation. They tried to be the robbers of our God, but they still calling him by or referencing him by a Canaanite idol name or a moon god idol name. They tried to be that, but they are the robbers of our heritage and nation. But they trying to call themselves of Yeshar Allah, but they call themselves of Israel or of Judah, Jewish or Jews, right? Representing only one tribe of Yasharlah, which is the tribe of Judah, right? So, right then and there, hold on, let me make sure I don't lose my spot right here. I'm at verse 18. So, right then and there, when the Most High acts, right, and he comes to bring them nations down, even this Edomite nation that we're living in right now, the southern kingdom, right? For that's where these Malachite Edomites, your Illuminatis, right? The illuminated ones, meaning they are illuminated to the prophecies in the book, so they know how to act beforehand. But the Most High also said that I would take away the understanding from Amalek, right? So this is why they're doing certain things that's backfiring against them, for they know not the knowledge and the wisdom that they once had to take over and have dominion over the world, over certain countries, because the Most High is taking that away. And I will speak about that and drop a scripture for that for those who may be like, where is that at? That sounds interesting. I will do that for you. But these are the nations right there, because we already see the Babylonian kingdom, the Most High got rid of. We see the Medes and the Persians, the Most High got rid of. Greece, the Most High got rid of, right? And we see the Roman kingdom, the Most High got rid of, right? And now we're living in this kingdom right now, the Edomite and Gentile kingdoms, because the Edomites have made alliances with all different colonies, right? As we see in Psalms chapter 83. They made alliances with these different nations to build this dominion that they call Great America, daughter of Babylon, the great whore, right? The great drunken whore. Drunk off of what? Drunk off of power, drunk off of idolatry, and drunk off of confusion, right? They drunk off of wickedness, drunk off of witchery. That's not even a word, but it sounds beautiful. These drunk off of things that are very toxic to the house of Yesharlah or Yisrael, right? So when the Most High decides to act in verse 17, take all them nations down, crumble it, right? This Edomite slash Gentile nation down. Then he says, and I will spare them as parents spare their children who serve them. He talking about, right, his special jewels or his special possession, his remnant. That's Micah 4 for the highest said he's going to make his remnant, which is a lame, weak, and not the strong, not the proud, but the lower tier of Yesharlah or Yisrael. Ahaya is going to make them a strong nation once he rebuilds and reboots his nation. He's going to deal with the weak, the blind, the deaf, the doubtful, the hopeless, the hopeful, those who seek the Most High, broken, those who've been driven away, who've been mistreated, great afflictions. You beautiful people, you who's full of depression and full of heartache and full of diseases, and you. That's who Ahia is going to deal with and make a great nation. So right here where it says, they shall be mine, says Ahia of hosts or of armies, my special possession. He's talking about you, that remnant. And the description of that remnant is in Micah 4. Let's go ahead and just go there. Because it sounds even more beautiful when you just go there and look at it and read it for yourself, man. Look, peace and security through obedience unto a higher. In the days to come, the mountain of the highest house shall be established as the highest of the mountains, and shall be raised up above the hills. See, that's in correlation with Daniel chapter 2 as well, talking about that stone. Once that stone hits that statue and all these nations get torn away, get swept away into the dust, and the Most High bring his special chosen people back, and they become a nation again. He brings them back. That he's going to fill the whole earth, and the highest going to be, that mountain is going to fill the whole earth, and that mountain is a higher, that stone, right? And this is talking about the highest house shall be established at the highest of the mountains, and shall be raised up above the hills. That's Mount Zion, right? For that's where, the house will want to sit right there. But that's a great correlation parallel to, filling the whole earth. That stone shall fill the whole earth and become a great mountain. And this is the great mountain, the Mount Zion, right? Because that's where Ahia resides, in Zion. Beautiful Zion, beautiful Ahia. I love you, Papa. Okay. Highest mountain shall be raised up above the hills. People shall stream to it, and many nations shall come and say, come, let us go up to the mountain of Ahia, to the house of the power of Jacob, that he may teach us his ways, and that we may walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth instructions. That's the law. The law is only instructions, y'all. Instructions. That's what the law is. It's instructions on how to live your life and how to treat people and how to see the Most High. Not through your lens, but through the lens of our Creator, Ahaya. It's okay. And the word of Ahaya from Jerusalem. He shall judge between many peoples, and shall arbitrate between strong nations far away. They shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn to war any more. But they shall sit under their own vines and under their own fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid, for the mouth of a higher of armies or of hosts have spoken. Then it says, for all the peoples, each in the name of its idol, but we will walk in the name of our higher, our power forever. We shall walk in the name of a higher, our power. That's what that God represents. That uppercase God is power. Our power forever and ever. Let me get to the point. Verse 6, that's where it starts. This is you, remnant. Listen up. You who's struggling. You who needs it. This is you. Listen. In that day, says Ahia, I will assemble the lame and gather those who have been driven away, and those whom I have afflicted. The lame I will make the remnant, and those who were cast off a strong nation, and a higher will reign over them in Mount Zion, now and forevermore. All praise to a higher, right? Now let's go back, because I like to do that. So let's bounce all the way back, all the way up to right here where we started, and we ended with who is found written in the book. Then it goes to say, many of those who sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. Now, this is the meat and potatoes, the bread and butter. This is the ISO to a fancy dribbler, whatever. I'm talking basketball. This is the icing on the cake right here. A perfect verse over a tight beat right here. This is where I wanted to get. This is where I really wanted to connect the dots, because a lot of idolatry stems from this right here. Many of those who sleep in the dust of the earth. That is a metaphor, my people. For we are still asleep. First, we're walking zombies, right? We don't know who we are. But many of us are still asleep in this earth right now, not knowing who we are, still into Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Scientology, etc., etc. I could just keep going and giving so much exaltation to all these different deities and theologies, right? But I won't. For we are still asleep. We are still up under that. Pardon me, y'all. That was my daughter. I normally lose my train of thought, so I didn't really want to lose it right there. But many of us are still asleep and still not as awakened to what's going on in the world, why this is going on, why we're suffering these attacks, why our people are being targeted, why we are struggling, and we don't know what's needed or what we need to do, because we don't identify the majority of us as Yasharites or Yisrael or Hebrews, which is a derogatory term for, that's why they call them, oh, you're a Hebrew, or I can't stand them Hebrews. It's a derogatory term, which is also proven that that fits the curse of being a byword in a proverb. A Hebrew is a byword in a proverb. Ancient word was Habaru, but being called a Hebrew is not a good thing. For we're not Hebrew Yasharites. You know, the original, Abraham was from Ur, right? And he was considered and called Akramin, right? Meaning he was a Aramaic or a Syrian. He was a Syrian, right? Spoke Aramaic. That's what we are. We are Aramaic Yasharites. And if you be like, well, them people don't really have a description of you guys here, if you read that verse that describes beautiful Dawi, and it talks about how Dawi was beautiful and dark with beautiful eyes, you know, like Morris chestnut. It was ruddy. Ruddy is like Morris chestnut, dark color. And this version of the book right here gets it right. I think it's this version, or is it the other version? I believe it's, let me not mistake. I believe it's this version. Gets it right. And it says dark, you know. Let me see if I can find that while I'm talking. But we are Aramaic Ishmaelites, you know. That's just a little sidebar. But let me not get too far off. I'm just so excited right now. I haven't did this in a while, and I want to cram so much in. But many of those who sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake. Many, not all. Many mean that some of us will awake to know who we are. Some, then it's like we shall awake some to everlasting life. What does that mean? Everlasting life is the law. Some will awake to know who they are, and then they will honor and respect the instructions or the law of a higher. So that's why it says they will awake to everlasting life. They will awake and they will awake to commit and honor the law and the instructions of a higher. For the next verse is going to tell you what the other half will do. Then it says, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. So what does that mean exactly? Why does it say some will awake to shame and everlasting contempt? Shame meaning dishonor. So some will wake up to know that they're Israel or Yesharlah. They will awake to know that, right? But then they will say, well, I don't honor this. Look how we still being treated. What's the difference? What's the profit in this? Right? And I can go to the scripture about the profit, like us feeling like, what's the profit in serving the Most High, right? What profit is it for us to serve the Most High? You know what? I'm going to deal with that too. But so we don't honor the law or honor the Most High a higher. And then it says, to shame and everlasting contempt. Now, contempt, right, is it's mockery, hatred, disdain, disrespect, right? Wow, I'm looking it up right now. You know, I gotta have my little other tab. I'm looking it up. And it says the feeling that a person or a thing is beneath consideration. So, someone's gonna wake and feel like this is beneath them to be slaves, to be under the curse. So many people say, I ain't under no curse. This is beneath them to feel like they are a slave or under the curse, or that they people have really gone through this. For many of us say that we're kings and queens, or they want to be Kemets, Kemetic people, right? They want to be gods and goddesses. Many of us want to be witches and warlocks. We're greater than that. We're not cursed people. Mockery, right? So many is gonna wake to know that they are Yeshua, alike, or Yeshala, or Israel. They're gonna, because the writing is on the wall. Like, this is decision time. This is Malachi chapter 3, 16 through 18. You know, you have to make a choice, and we're gonna have to discern who is serving a higher and who serves him not. That's Malachi chapter 3. You know. So many's gonna make that choice. Like, nah, I don't want. Well, I ain't no. I ain't from the house of Yesharlah. I ain't with them Israelites. I ain't doing none of that. It's beneath me. It's worthless. Matter of fact, America is our home anyway. Some people feel like America's their home. Oh, America is the true land of Israel anyway. You know what I mean? We kings. We run this land. So when they get hit with the truth, because once you wake up to know that you're Yesharlah, you're Israel, and then you discover the truth and everything gets brought to you and broken down to you, put in proper perspective, and then you see that you must humble yourself before a higher, and then humble yourself in your heart and become of low tier, lowly, for a higher is going to deliver. The meek shall inherit the earth. And once the meek inherits the earth, the meek becomes what? Strong, and has dominion, and will have dominion. But right here, before all that can take place, you know, many of those who sleep in the dust of the earth shall wake, right? Some to everlasting life, respect unto the Most High's instructions and this walk, right? Now, why am I saying everlasting life? Is he crazy? Am I crazy? Nah, let's go to Deuteronomy. Oh, did I forget? Is it Deuteronomy? I don't think it's 30. I think it's 30:15. Come on, Dowie. I know you. Yep, there we go. See, I have set before you today life and prosperity, death and adversity. If you obey the commandments of a higher your power that I am commanding you today by loving a higher your power, walking in his ways and observing his commandments, decrees, and ordinances, then you shall live, right? You shall live, shall awake to everlasting life, and you shall live and become numerous. And the higher your power will bless you in the land that you are entering to possess. But if your heart turns away and you do not hear, but are led astray to bow down to other idols and serve them, I declare to you today that you shall perish. You shall not live long in the land that you are crossing. The Jordan to enter, or the Jordan to enter and possesses. So let me go back. So then when you go back to Daniel 1 and 2, then it says, many of those who sleep in the dust of the earth shall wake, some to everlasting life. That's what it's talking about. The laws, right? And the awakening, well, this is talking about awakening, the awakening of who you are. So some will accept it and love that, yes, I'm the chosen of the Most High. And I just can't wait. I'm going to endure to the end. I'm going to endure. I love Ahia. So I'm going to wait, and I'm going to keep his instructions. I love his law. I can't wait to do it. And then many is going to be like, well, it's a shame to me. And they will have everlasting contempt. Everlasting means forever. That they would never come out of that mindset. So forever they will mock this walk in the Most High's law and never turn to him. So this is why you have a remnant. This is why you have the majority of Yasharlah or Yisrael stuck into idolatry and won't turn from it. Rather they serving the white Jesus or the black Jesus. It's because they are awakened to everlasting shame and contempt. So their life will be in shame. Their life will be full of shame. They will die in shame. They will live in shame. And they will be filled with contempt forever. A mockery of their own inheritance, their own birthright, their own power, their own king, their true inheritance, which is Yasharlah, Yisrael, Ahaya, Asha, Ahaya, the power of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. They will mock it and not trust in the deliverance of Ahaya, not trust that they shall be great and not be a byword, nor an astonishment to the world, but shall be somebody of importance, matter, royalty, shall be a figure of love, a lamp of hope, a symbol of salvation. They mock all that. All praise to a higher. Let me look up that thing that I said I was going to look up about the Amalekite Edomites. Said that took all wisdom and understanding from them. I hope I can find it. Took all, oh my gosh. Try this. Alright, let me check it out, y'all. I'm looking it up now. Took all wisdom and, oh my gosh, understanding Bible verse. Show me love, Ahaya. I know I'm supposed to have my notes right there, but I don't. So can you spare me? I believe that's in Isaiah. So let me look like that. So that's the beauty of it. Um, how is it lighting him? Oh my gosh. Oh man. I can't believe whom did he consult to enlighten him and taught him the path of justice. I cannot remember exactly where that's at. But I did look, you guys. And it's there. I promise you it's there. I will post it in the comments section. I will do that. Fair enough. I did look. I'll make sure I have my notes this time. But I'm in this video. It's kind of long. But all praise to Ahaya, Ashur, Ahaya. And I look forward to doing some more videos. Pardon me with me scrambling and doing all of that. I just want to go in because I love my king. And it feels good to tackle these again. But I want you guys to remember, always lean upon the Most High. Call upon Him. The worse things get, the stronger your faith and the harder your prayers come. And I want you to remember, like Ahia said, give me no rest. Isaiah chapter 62. I better have that one right. Give me no rest. Meaning, stay praying until Ahia. Peace, y'all, in love.